All right, we should be live on Bookface. I will record as well. All right, good evening, everybody. Super excited here to have Pro 9 Kerry Williams joining me so we can talk about business centers. And honestly, in the 10 years that I've been involved in LifeVantage, this is the very first time we have ever got on a large group setting to discuss the business center. So we originally, when we joined, we were given Business Center 2 at the rank of Pro 4, and then Business Center 3 at Pro 6, and then it changed years later to earning them at Pro 5 and Pro 7. And we are super excited to announce that as of a month ago, they dropped the earning of the business centers back down to Pro 4 and Pro 6. And then the one that they had added at Pro 10, they dropped that to Pro 9. So super excited that we can get on here with that great news and really teach, since this is really within our organization, strategy on how to do it. Michelle and I, we talked last month on the announcement side of it, but when you do a training for the entire company, we don't like to talk strategy just because certain people build their businesses a little bit different than we might. So today we will get into the structure and the strategy and why we do certain things, and then also just a little bit more framework around the business centers and how you get paid out on those. So I'm going to share my screen here with a little bit of PowerPoint, and Kerry, jump in as we're going through this because you know this just as well as anybody else in the company. So excited to have you here, lady.
Absolutely. You guys, I'm just so excited for this. I mean, this is a huge, really gift from the company, a way to earn income faster, right? So yeah, Shawn and I are very excited about all this. I know we've been fighting hard to get it back.
Yes, we have. So again, you earn the new business centers. Business Center 2 earned at Pro 4, Business Center 3 earned at Pro 6, and Business Center 4 at Pro 9, which gives you the ability to double, triple, and possibly, depending how your business is built out, quadruple dip into the commission structure. So in the back office or your replicated website under resources, you can find the corporate verbiage on the business centers, and this picture right here is taken directly from that, and it starts to talk about how you can put them within your business. I found it a little bit easier though, just to spell it out for everybody. But first, I want to get into the different parts of the compensation plans that pay for your additional business centers, because it is not the same as your original position or BC1. So the eligible components out of all the ways that we get paid that you can earn money on BC2, BC3, and BC4 is for unilevel commissions and global elite bonus pool. So when your business center is commission eligible and you have the right OV requirements, you will be eligible to earn commission on unilevel and also global elite. Anything else you want to add there, Kerry?
No, I just, if you don't know already, Shawn and Michelle are Pro 9 in Business Center 1, and then they're Pro 8, right, in Business Center 2. So yeah, they are very familiar with getting to double and triple dip, but also hitting that elite bonus pool multiple times. So something very exciting to strive for.
I love it. And then the areas that you do not receive pay, this is super important, you guys. It is not eligible for the Smart Start bonus, the launch bonus, or generational matching bonus. So only your original position, what we refer to as BC1, is eligible for all of the compensation plan. So never, ever, ever enroll a PC or a distributor using a Business Center 2, 3, or 4. And we cannot stress that enough.
Never, ever, ever. So we want to keep it simple. And this is a business of duplication, right? So you use your original ID as your enroller, always, always, always. And then as we're talking about things, you can place volume in BC 2, 3, or 4, but always use your original enroller.
Yes. And I'm going to say it one more time just to make sure we're super clear on this. Your original position is the only position that you're going to enroll in, because it would be terrible to enroll a new customer or a new distributor and you're not eligible for that 40% commission because you utilized a Business Center 2 or Business Center 3. So don't do it. Trust us on this. You don't want to not receive checks that you earned. All right, so next up here, where can I place my business center? We get this question quite a bit as people are opening them up. Business Center 2 is very, very simple to understand because the only place that it can go is direct to your original Business Center 1. Okay, so Business Center 2 will always start a new leg under BC1.
And you guys, if you do not have Business Center yet, or people on your team that do not, if you're wondering, how do I open it, right? So first you qualify by having achieved the rank of Pro 4 at some point with LifeVantage. That's what gets you your first one. And then to activate that, you literally work with your account rep and just say, let's go ahead and open up BC2. And then you'll end up putting a subscription and all that type of thing. And you'll have a separate login to your back office under that BC2 ID. But just so you know, how do I even get it? You earn it, and then you get it through your account rep, right, Shawn?
Yes. Good point, because it does not automatically open when you hit that rank of Pro 4 or Pro 6, Pro 9. You do have to request that it is opened, and it will have its own unique ID, distributor ID, just like Kerry was saying, and it will have its own unique login into the back office as well too. So Business Center 3, people that hit Pro 6, that third Business Center has two options. You can have it as a new leg again directly underneath Business Center 1, or if you are balanced, and I'll go through some different examples here, you can directly place it under BC2 so that it would be BC1, BC2, BC3. But again, it's really going to be dependent upon how your business has built itself out, and then how your ratios are for making sure that you're going to qualify for the next rank advancements, especially hitting those elite ranks. Because I'd hate for somebody to become unbalanced because they're trying to build out BC2 and unbalancing BC1 even more. So we will go through a couple specific examples without names, but all of the numbers on there so you can see that in more clarity. And then Business Center 4, when you hit Pro 9, that has three options. It can be direct to BC1. If you placed BC2 frontline, it could be under BC2. And then it could also be under BC3. So depending on what you decided to do with BC2, you have a couple different options for Business Center 4. I promise you, by the time that you're Pro 9, you'll understand where it needs to go. If not, you can definitely reach out to us as well too. We're going to focus though really on those first two examples though. And here's how I've always looked at people's businesses. Is I believe that everybody has the potential to eventually hit Pro 10. So even at the very beginning stages of building your business and earning these additional business centers, I'm still always looking for what the qualifications are going to be for Pro 10 to help me decide if you are balanced or you're unbalanced. Now at the rank of, like even Pro 7, it's 60, 30, 10. Pro 5, 60, 30, 10, and that's good up through Pro 9, but I've seen people get stuck because it switches from 60, 30, 10 in balance requirements to 40, 40, 20 from 9 to 10. So that's just where I start. Kerry, do you do something similar when you're looking at balances?
Yes, absolutely. And so just to clarify, as Shawn's talking about 40, 40, 20, so Pro 10's $1 million in volume, right? So that means a max of 400,000 could come from one leg, a max of 400,000 from another leg, and then everything else adding up to 200,000. So just looking at that percentage wise off of whatever volume you're talking about. And for those who aren't familiar with it, when we're saying like double, triple, or even quadruple dipping, just to give you an idea. So hypothetically, if you're Pro 6 and you have a Business Center 3, you could be placing customers in Business Center 3 and getting paid 3 times customers, distributors, whatever on that, right? So for example, if you placed it directly under BC3, then you'd be getting 2%, 5%, and 9%. So when we say, double, triple dipping. That's what we mean on that unilevel residual income.
Yeah, and just to put some kind of numbers around what she's telling you there, if you think about that unilevel structure, when you're initially building and something's frontline to you, that second month when they reorder, the unilevel portion of that, if it's frontline to you, pays 2%. Now, when you have that business center 3 open, and if it is underneath business center 2, the business center 2 or 3, I'm sorry, is going to earn that 2%. Business center 2 would earn 5%, and business center, the original position, BC1, would earn 9%. So on an order that used to pay you 2%, when you have business center 2 and business center 3 opened, it can go from 2% up to 16%. So 8 times the amount of money that you used to get paid by doing the same activity. And then with just BC2 and BC1, if it's direct to BC2, that position would earn the 2%, BC1 would earn the 5%. So now you're earning 7% instead of 2%, 350% raise. I will take that all day long.
Did you guys catch that? So 350% raise at a Pro 4, 800% raise at those you're enrolling at a Pro 6. So if that doesn't give you motivation to get to 4 or help your team get to 4 or 6, I don't know what would, right?
And to keep enrolling, because you want to place volume into these business centers as you're able to open them up. So again, BC2 is going to be super easy to understand where it's placed, because you don't have an option. When you open it, it's going to be frontline to BC1, and you do not have the ability to move it. You can't move it under your buddy. You can't move it under your neighbor. You can't move it under your dog. It has to stay frontline to you. There's no options on that. So that one's an easy one to understand at Pro 4. Now, when you get your business center 3 at Pro 6, there's 2 options again. So it can be placed frontline to BC1, just like you did with BC2, starting a new leg in your organization, or it can be placed directly under BC2 and have that roll up through BC3, BC2, BC1. So I'll show you 2 different examples where I took out the names, just so we can, again, put a little bit of numbers to this. And I can't see the chat right now, but as soon as we finish up these few slides, we'll then open it up for Q&A, and then I'll also go through the chat and we can answer any questions that you guys have on this. So here's an actual organization with ours, somebody that had hit Pro 6 in the past that is now eligible to open up their business center. You can see here their total volume at the end of August was a little over 40,000. And underneath there, you can see that their strong leg accounted for $18,020 of that, or PV of that. Strong leg 2 was $10,680, and then everything else combined was $11,596. And so I just, on the right-hand side, I wanted you to see those percentages, because again, when I'm looking at this, I want to build this person to Pro 10. So I'm looking for that 40, 40, 20 split, so they're not stuck getting those rank advancements. If you're balanced for 40, 40, 20, it doesn't matter what rank you're trying to achieve. You'll hit Pro 7 when you need to hit Pro 7. You'll hit Pro 8 when you have the volume for Pro 8. But let's always treat our business like you're going to hit Pro 10. So the strong leg has 45%. So we do want to balance that out a little bit. And it's meaning that I'm no longer placing volume directly there. I'm using my business center to drop that percent down. So right here with 10,680 out of the 40,296 being the second strongest leg, that's actually this person's BC2 and accounts for 27% of the volume. And then all the outside legs combined is at 28%. So here is a perfect example of how I would structure somebody's business that can open up BC3 and place it directly under BC2. So now the volume's going from BC3 to BC2 to BC1, and it's helping drop down that percentage of where BC1 is with the strong leg at 45%. Okay. So this is one example.
You and for everyone, just keep in mind, each business center has the exact same requirements in terms of balance. So your you know, in this example, if you're going to go put it at, you know, BC3 directly under 2, you're going to end up building multiple legs in Business Center 3. There's already some volume in Business Center 2. So you've got to build multiple legs to get that balance and get paid on, you know, whatever rank that your volume is at.
Yeah, and definitely understand too, we can help guide and help you build this because as volume comes in that you're enrolling in BC1, remember, we're always enrolling in BC1. We'll help you while you have it in the holding tank, decide where it properly fits underneath these business centers.
They've got 30 days from when you enroll someone. Will up to that, well, it sits in that holding tank to then talk to us and figure out what are the best bets for you.
So here's a little different example where this person, once again, at one time they had qualified for Pro 6, so they're eligible to open it up. They ended August just under 40,000 in volume, but the majority of their volume is coming from their strong legs. So 58% of that volume is coming from one leg in their organization. Their BC2, which is their second strongest leg, accounts for 34%. And they've only got 8% in the outside legs to qualify. So if you even look at what it qualifies to be paid as Pro 6, they don't have the 10% in outside volume necessary to be paid as a Pro 6. So we have to beef up that outside volume, which tells me there's no way in this person's current business that we would stack BC3 underneath BC2, because otherwise we're going to continue to make that more unbalanced, or we're not able to dump any volume under BC3 because we're still building the outside legs. So in this specific example, my suggestion to this person would be to leave it frontline so that it counts as a new outside leg that we can dump 100% of our volume in there to start balancing out the strongest leg at 58% and get it closer to that 40-40-20 split once again.
So do you guys see the value in the company giving us that extra business center now at 4 and 6? So it, like Shawn's talking about in that example, if they did not have that third business center, then they would need to be building front line to business center 1, right? So they'd be getting paid once on each of those. So by getting business center 2, putting it front line, or business center 3, sorry, putting it front line to the business center 1, now they're able to start building multiple legs that flow into one leg, but they're getting paid twice on that volume. So again, that's a huge tool. We just want to be able to use it appropriately.
Yep. And we can look at everybody's specific numbers as you're able to open up these business centers and give you our advice. I just want you to have a 10,000-foot overview of how the business centers work and kind of the logic and the reason behind the advice that I give to people as they're continuing to build out these business centers as they're earned. So that is all the slides that I had for you. Want to look through the chat here.
I think we're pretty caught up on the chat. You know, one thing to keep in mind, since you are not enrolling in BC2 or 3, those IDs actually need 100 PV until it hits the rank of Pro 4. To be paid as a Pro 4, you have to have 200 in PV. And so just to keep in mind that. So if you're a new Pro 4, boom, you open up your BC2, you're going to want to put a 100-point subscription in there to get fully qualified for the commissions on the UNA level. But then the minute you're hitting Pro 4, you got to make sure it's at 200 points because we don't want to leave any money on the table.
Yeah, and my best advice to you guys to keep it as simple as possible is regardless what rank those business centers are, I would just get them to 200 in PV.
200 all the way.
and we can help you structure that so that, you know, you're splitting maybe your monthly order. If you have a bunch of customer volume in BC1, you only need 40 of your personal order to come from there. And then we might be beefing up that BC2. But I found that sometimes people get confused on the 100, 200. You are 100% commission eligible at 200. So just get to that point, and then you don't have to worry about am I or aren't I eligible based on whatever rank it's being paid as. What other questions do you guys have? I know that, you know, this is kind of fun for the numbers people, and they love to see it and hear it. And sometimes it can be a little bit stressful for the people that numbers don't come as easy. So definitely any questions that you guys have, you can even unmute. Let's hear what you guys have on this.
Shawn, will you please
I
tell
heard
us,
you right.
one day I'm going to remember this, the difference between the organizational volume and the qualification volume?
Yeah, so the qualification volume is really looking at that split that you need for that next rank advancement. So let me pull up one of those. Actually, those examples won't be good for this, but let's say that somebody has a runaway leg and they have, 80,000 in volume coming from one leg, but they have barely any volume coming from anywhere else, and they're not eligible at Pro 6. When I'm looking at that qualification volume for Pro 6, it'll tell me I can only take 60% of that 80,000, or I'm sorry, 60% of 50,000. So there's for sure 30,000 there that does not qualify for that leg counting towards Pro 6. And then it's actually only 60% of 50,000. So you're looking at 30,000 is what is eligible to count from that strong leg for that part of qualifying for Pro 6. So sometimes if you're perfectly balanced for the next rank, it'll look exactly the same. It'll have the same number for organizational volume as qualifying volume. However, if you are unbalanced for the next rank advancement, when you're looking at that, there could be a difference where the organizational volume is higher than qualifying volume because you can't count all of that strong leg or maybe that second strongest leg towards the next rank advancement. Kerry, you can clarify that.
Nope, you got it. I was just looking in the chat. Can you move customers to different business centers? Yes, you can place customers or distributors, anyone you personally enroll within the first 30 days. If someone's already there, I'd leave them where they're at. Like, we're just talking on where to put people moving forward as you enroll.
Yep.
And on all the qualifications, as we're talking 40, 40, 20, someone asked your second biggest leg, or so your first leg, whatever your big leg is, then your second biggest leg, then everything else combines into what they call your third leg. But as Shawn's talking 40, 40, 20, just keep in mind that's minimum. So if you are a hyper enroller and you had 10 legs at 10,000 each, right? Or whatever, you're completely balanced. Some people think they've got to get to that 40%. No, that's just a minimum qualification to hit Pro 10.
Yeah, so think of that first number as like a max. I can only take 40% from my strongest, and then it's a minimum requirement on that third number, the outside legs. And that outside volume is typically where I see people get tripped up for qualifying for the next rank advancement, because at Pro 6 they need 10% of the 50,000, so 5,000 in volume from outside legs, and they might have two strong legs, but they don't have that 5,000 necessary for the outside volume at 6, and then it jumps up to 10,000 at Pro 7. And then when you're looking at the 40, 40, 20 at Pro 10, that's 200,000 that needs to come from all your outside legs. So we really want to try to balance you as properly as we can throughout your entire time. Corey's asking about 40, 40, 20 will always keep you balanced for every rank. Absolutely, through the rank of Pro 10, it will. However, when you look at like the presidential Pro 10 and the one above that, that gets a little bit weird, because then they start counting legs that are underneath business centers, and the splits are a little bit different there. But through Master Pro 10, yes, 40, 40, 20 will be perfect balance as long as you're there. If you have placed your BC3 already and want to move it, paperwork is required. Yes, anytime that you're moving anything that has been opened that isn't in your holding tank to be able to be moved, takes paperwork to get it moved.
What
Great
about,
question.
I want to say this out loud, and I want you to correct me if I'm right or wrong so I can get it right in my head. So if you had your BC1 and then you had your BC2 under it and then your BC3. So because BC3 is on your third line, you're going to get 9% of that. But you'll get 2% because it's another business center. But the 9% from that business center will roll up and be paid into your BC1. Did I say that right?
Correct.
So-
So business center 3 will earn 2%, business center 2 will earn 5%, and business center 1 will earn 9% if they're frontline enrolled under that BC3.
Frontline placed.
Yeah, frontline place, sorry. Yes.
What
No
about
enrolled.
family members, placing family members to set up some additional?
Well, family members won't be, you know, directly in your BC.
Yeah, the only place you can place business centers is frontline to BC1 or underneath another business center. So you can't place them underneath anybody else. What other questions? I know that there's a few. Just got to unmute.
I want to make sure everyone heard again, we're only enrolling in BC1.
Yes.
Because if you're, well, first you're missing the commission if you enroll in BC2 or 3, or say that then a customer refers someone, right, that's enrolled by that, then you're going to miss out on that. So just do not go there, period, no matter what. It's not worth it. And we have plenty of products for you to use on a monthly basis to be fully qualified on commissions with your own order.
Perfect, perfect. And some clarification as well too on like Life Venture. So when we hit Pro 7 in our BC2, it is not eligible for additional Jeeps or payments. You only qualify once for Life Venture. Incentive trips and promotions, however, allow you typically to qualify in any position, but again, only in one position. So if your BC2 qualifies and your BC1 qualifies, you know, if it's tiered points, you would just use the position that has the highest earned points, but you wouldn't receive multiple incentives. I've never seen it on the trips and the promotions on business centers.
No extra Jeeps, but I'll tell you that elite bonus pool, 7 and 8, I think that would pay for some Jeeps and some more. So Shawn, that's a pretty good payment.
Yeah. And just to give you kind of frame of reference, as you're building those things up, like the elite bonus pool, typically what I see the 7 elite spot, that one earning between $1,200 and $1,300 a month. The Pro 8 one, $2,800, $3,000 a month. Pro 9 one, $6,800 to $8,000. And the Pro 10 one lately, I believe, has been paying over $20,000. So when you combine that up, just on that part of the compensation plan, one business center could earn over $30,000. If you had multiple business centers, you would be double and triple dipping into some of that as well too. So, you know, that's where structuring this right. We don't want you to do the work and not get paid as much as possible. So definitely reach out as you're building this to understand how that structure works specifically for you and your balance.
Those numbers are so exciting. Makes me want to say, okay, let's end this call right now and let's start
Get to work.
contacting people, right? Let's get to work.
How much does it cost to have a wee little bit of Shawn and Kerry's amazing brain? That's free. You're getting it free right here.
And I'm sorry, I shouldn't be interrupting, but
No.
I know when you go through those one ways of the bonus pool, the 7 and then the 8 and then the 9 and the 10, sometimes you hear that, but then and I know Shawn, you said it, it's just the one way, but it's one of the ways. That's not with all the other ways of getting paid. So it's so much more even beyond that. So Keeper, you're talking about wanting a Jeep, like another Jeep. You could go get a second Jeep, like Kerry was saying, with the amount within that next, if your business center 2 gets to Pro 8, you can get it. Just go get another Jeep.
And just when I look at my business center 2 and 3 paychecks, because then you'll get a separate monthly check from them on the 15th, right?
Yeah.
When I look at that in my head, I honestly think this is all pure extra, pure bonus, right?
Yeah.
We're doing that work anyway in business center 1. So that's literally extra money for doing the work.
Yep. Yeah, it literally is. You're not doing anything different other than structure and strategy of how you position the work that you're already doing. And that can add up, you know, as you get into the different ranks. that can add up to be full-time income on itself. So it is worth it to structure it, especially early on at the rank of Pro 4. I would encourage 100% of our organization to get it opened up. If you haven't yet, same with people that have hit Pro 6, whether it was paid as last month or not. If you've hit Pro 6 in the past, you're eligible to open up BC3, and we will help guide you through this on what it takes to make sure that it's commission eligible. Again, know that if you have your personal order and combined orders of 200 or higher, you're going to be good. But we'll help you with anything that's in your holding tank on where it should go to make sure those balances are still good and you're not setting yourself up to get stuck somewhere. Last call. Okay, Debbie, let's see. Because BC2, 3 never enrolls a customer distributor, does one just person order product? Yes. So, and get with your upline, but to beef up the business centers a little bit if it's needed, you do have the ability on the previous month's enrolled customers only, never do this with a distributor, but some of your PCs, you could have them on the 15th of the next month. Once commissions are paid, switch the enroller, and the Smart Start is already paid and you're not going to mess that up. So if you needed a little bit to beef up BC2 or BC3 to make sure that it's commission eligible, you could change a few of those PCs, but I wouldn't do very much. And I would definitely make sure you understand it. Do not rely on your account manager or your field development manager to give you the correct info on this. Reach out to one of us to make sure if you're ever changing enrollers for BC2 or 3, that you know exactly what you're doing, and we will help you through that.
And ideally just don't. So if you have BC2 at 200, BC3 at 200, and like Shawn said, you could lower your first one down to 40 as long as you have customers covering that. That's still 440 points in product. Most of us, even if you're single, we can use that. Then your Axio samples and all that can count in there.
Exactly. All right, I see some, let's go, and sounds good.
Susan, say the compensation highlight form. I remember like that was like the Bible. Like I always had that in my binder. Is that still available for people to find if they need that? I just have it on my desktop, but that for me was the best visual.
You can print that off. I believe that's in the bottom of on your website.
Yeah, it's in resources.
Yeah, the long form, if you scroll down on your replicated site to resources, there's going to be about 10 PDFs there. One of them is the short version, which is the 1-page PDF of the comp plan. And then it will have the full version of the compensation plan, which is like 14 pages that you can download there as well too.
And if you're talking to people and you're getting questions, like someone that's been in network marketing and they're asking detailed questions on the compensation plan, and you don't feel like you're really up to snuff on answering that, just again connect with your team. Great question, let me have you talk to so and so.
Yeah, and this is very unique in the industry. Not a lot of companies have the ability for you to have multiple positions, and especially when they're just earned by the work that you're doing and you don't have to pay for them. So when you're talking with professional network marketers, this is very unique in the marketplace to double, triple, quadruple dip on volume you're bringing in. And I'll throw out one last thing. If you're bringing in red carpet people, they are eligible to immediately open up, if it makes sense, these business centers, okay? So that is a perk that when somebody is coming in through that program, and somebody that is bringing over a team or an organization, sometimes that makes sense to get those opened and structured right away so that you can begin to double and triple dip on that before they're even at the rank of Pro 4 or 6. Cool. All right. If you're excited about this, let's see some kind of crazy face. Let's see something, some kind of animation. There we go. Leslie Mark's got a big smile. Michelle's excited about this. Kibra is still in it, even though she didn't get that second Jeep there. She's still ready to go.
She's gonna be
get her
paying for a
first.
Lambo with her bonus pool.
Mickey's ready. I love it. I love it. Okay, you guys, I hope that this was helpful. We will have this on One Person Big Difference for you guys to utilize as a tool. We will always do private Zooms with you guys to help you understand and put in specifics for your situation. But you can, you know, as your team is hitting Pro 4, hitting Pro 6, you can definitely tag them into this to utilize as a tool if you don't feel comfortable and they just want the information right away. So feel free to do that. I will send the recording out to Kerry so she can put it into all of her fabulous places and we'll go from there.
Thanks, you guys. Thanks for joining us. Thanks, Shawn.
Appreciate you. Thanks for joining me, Kerry. I appreciate you and I love your horse trophy.
Always a pleasure.
See you guys.
Bye, guys.